gentlemen, I did it! I did it! I wanted to use a curse word, but I refused because I get enough of my videos demonetized all the time, so let's try not to for once. But we have myself versus Eltharian Shades, Greenskins versus High Elves. We were having some fun games back and forth. But I did it! I have a new build, and it works! And it's 2-0 right now. And it has mother flippin' orc boys with gold chevrons. Now you might be like, Human Boy, you dumb piece of garbage, still managing not to get demonetized. You dumb piece of garbage, why are you taking orc boys? You have said for months that goblins are better because they charge WA faster, and yada yada, and such and so and things. Well, flip it, because high elves are high elves, and they're stupid. They're not stupid. They're not stupid. But they have one... Wow, that is really foggy. Okay. Anyway, they have one problem for my greenskin builds, and that is their insane melee defense is what their faction is balanced around. I'm not saying high elves are unbalanced. I'm just saying they do have a really high melee defense on their spearmen. Even my goblins with Wurzag... Where are you, Wurzag? With his 12 melee attack from Bonewood Staff and the Wa, they would reach like 50 melee attack, and they wouldn't be able to get through the enemy spearmen still. And then the Wa would wear off, and I'd just never get through the front line, and I would get killed. So I wanted to try triple gold chevron orc boys. Gives them impressive leadership. Already 36 melee attack, which when you buff them up with the Bonewood Staff, get them up to like almost 50, and that can match the spearmen. And then they have much higher weapon strength, the goblins, so I can try to actually kill models in the brief time that I am more buff than them. So let's go. Let's do it. 5 triple gold chevron orc boys, and triple gold chevron, they're only 650-ish gold, so they're like the cost of a plague monk, which is still kind of expensive, but it's not like, you know, chosen level. I have 5 goblin archers just for volume of fire versus the high elves. We have 8 peak loons, fanatics, ROR, unbreakable, and they can go spinny spin through those high elf infantry I have troubles clearing. And we have 2 orc barbiggans, one of which is the broken tusk mob, 2 basic spider riders, and then the 2 skirmish cav. I stopped taking them for a bit, but I'm back to taking them. The deaf creepas and Morgo's Meiji marauders. I feel like they usually pay for themselves, plus a hammer gork. Because Cool Umbrella kept telling me how great the hammer gork is. I'm like, fine, I'll take this stupid thing. It feels alright. Then we have Wurzag with his usual Gazem Mork and Fists of Gork to get that Bonewood buff. On the other side, we have Silver Helms and Illyrian Reavers. A lot of them. Looks like 3 apiece. And then a front line of 4 spearmen. 2 Shadow Warriors. And up here, we have 2 War Lions of Christ, one of which is Rahagra's Pride. We have Archmage of Death on her Moondragon mount with Fate of Yuna and Spirit Leech. Archers are just trying to get a little bit of damage out right now. I think I mentioned there were 2 Shadow Warriors, but there are in fact 2 Shadow Warriors. Orc boys are marching ever onwards. And in the trees, we already get some Orc barbiggans fighting Silver Helms and Lyran Reavers. I send Spider Riders to help them out. And archers are trying to defend themselves in the back line. I also need to get a Fists of Gork cast up here. I think I am running to go do that now, because I really want to win this fight with the War Lions. So here we go. Fists of Gork gives me 66 and 59 melee stats. We'll kill those War Lions. And my Orc boys on the front line get 48 melee attack. Let's go. They're going to start crushing through these spearmen, hopefully. And they also hold, which is quite nice. Speaking of holding, so are these guys. Bonewood Staff wears off, though, so those Orc boy biggins are down to their regular stats. We also don't have a wad just yet. Orcs do take a lot longer to charge it up than goblins do. My Morgo's Meiji marauders overchase. I was trying to get those living movers. I overchase into these guys. All right, so Wa is up. And with the Bonewood Staff pop, we have 72 melee attack. Now is the time to kill some spearmen. We're kind of doing it. High elves are very tanky. Like that's their whole thing. Is these spearmen have insane melee. On the sides, though, my broken tusk mob is still fighting both War Lions, kicking tons of ass over here against these guys in the trees. And in the backfield, Silver Helms. I'm trying to contain them with the Deaf Creepas, trying to stop these guys and poke them down with archers. And in the trees, some of my Goblin Archers are also under attack by the Archmage of Death, but the reason I have 5 Goblin Archers is just volume. It's not really worth the High Elves' time to chase them all down. Like, these guys rallied in the trees, and they're back, they're here. But this big Dragon Lord is just going to have so much trouble killing all of my Goblins. Orc Borbor again, still fighting against those Silver Helms. Doing pretty good. Spearmen also poking them down. My front line is winning, pushing up against those Shadow Warriors. Just trying to keep those guys under pressure. Hammer Gork is taken out by the Silver Helms before they themselves are routed by the Death Creepers. Leon Reavers also routes. My back line is securing itself. Archers are back. We're focus firing the Archmage of Death as much as possible. She throws a Spirit Leech onto another Goblin Archer. Didn't like him, I guess. Didn't like that one in particular. Gold Chevron Orc boys are on the job, fighting against these Silver Helms. Keeping them away from my archers who are now firing out at the Archmage of Death. Just trying to poke her down a little bit. Oh, never mind. We're firing at Leon Reavers. We're ignoring her for now, I guess. Seems fair. Spider Riders have come all the way from the frontline fight to rear charge Rahagur's Pride and the other War Lions, who I gave the Broken Tusk Mob another Fists of Gork. I really wanted those guys to live. Shadow Warriors are kiting into the ether against my Orc boys, but as long as they're busy, I guess I'm happy. Spinning Loons, my other Orc boys, stuck on these Spearmen. One more Wah should help them out. We have some rallying greenskins around the map that need to come home. Death Creepers are going to catch these Illyrian Reavers who just rallied in their face. Oh, they were stalked. Okay. I was like, why the hell are you guys back? Gold Chevron Orc boys fighting the Archmage of Death for now. Archers do need to repurpose onto her. These guys are shattered off. The Orc Boarboy Biggins, the Spider Riders, and the Spider Rider ROR are still nearby to help these archers out against Silver Helms. Meanwhile, my other archers are continuing to fire. Is that a Fate of Buna onto my Orc boys? Alright, she cancels it. Oh, nope, she's coming back. She really wants that Fate of Buna on those Orc boys. Can't say I blame her. They're chads. There it is. But yeah, man, this front line ain't going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere. Look at him go. Still out here. Still fighting. Still fighting the good fight. Some gold chevron Orc boys plus these Orc Borbor Biggins trying to catch the Shadow Warriors, get some good damage onto them. Both these guys are so low, I don't know if they're going to get it. A quick effigy to get onto the Shadow Warriors, trying to slow them down for my Orc boys to catch up and get good damage in. Still getting kited. Wurzag's out here trying to help. And we do catch them a little bit. They're starting to run away again. On the other side of the battlefield completely, Spirit Leech for my Orc Borbor Biggins. All of my cavalry is swarming onto these last Silver Helms. I think I'll try to pop a Bonewood Staff here from across the map pretty soon to finish off those Silver Helms. More archers are rallying. My Gold Chevron Orc boys have rallied. I will always mention that they're Gold Chevron because they deserve it, because they're good lads. Archers have protected themselves from those Silver Helms who are coming back. The other Silver Helms are almost dead. The archers have returned. Wurzag abandoned that fight because his Orc boys died and he didn't want to fight Spearmen and stuff alone. It's not really his bag, so he's gonna just get the hell out of there. And it's mostly coming down to this Archmage, though she does have the world's most heroic Silver Helms hanging out with her. As I say that, they rout because, of course, the Broken Tusk Mob going to get Spirit Leeched, which should rout them also. Archers filtering back in, just going to get that little poke onto the Mage of Death. And my infantry has pushed off those last Spearmen. Now the Archmage of Death is mostly alone. Pushes off my Death Creepers, is also going to get rid of more Goblin Archers as Wurzag runs across the battlefield to get to her. It's looking pretty bad for the High Elves. Pretty bad. Shadow Warriors get involved with all my infantry over there. Alright, one more time, because the audio keeps getting corrupted on this thing, and it's just the worst. Archers are going to keep poking down that lady, Gaze Mork will hit her, and that will be army losses. If this audio has come out sounding weird, I am really sorry. I've had to re-record the audio like 4 or 5 times. I don't know what's going on with my streaming software. The original audio is dead and gone. You can see me hovering over all the values for any unit you care about. The Triple Gold Chevron Orc boys did fine. They paid for themselves or just around it, and that's overall okay because I needed them to get through that high front line I was struggling with. Everything else, you can see the values going through there. The Broken Tusk Mob did really, really well, and the Goblin Archers did what I needed them to do. On the other side, I think his Mage got okay value, and his Horseman did alright, but I wrecked his War Lions. So it was a fun game. Congratulations to him for playing it out, and let's fucking go.